Okay.
All right, we're back at the night hacking stage of Java 1. Heather Van Cura, and we are having a panel discussion about Java EE. Java EE being a big topic of discussion recently in the last few months. So at Java 1 this year, we've had some updates on what's going on. So I wanted to ask our panelists a few questions to give the community an update. So we have Linda. Hi, Linda.
Hi, Heather.
Thanks for joining us. All right. So first question I wanted to ask Linda, and then we also have Patrick Curran, chair of the JCP, Mark Little. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Heather.
So what's going on with Java EE? We've had the community's been a little anxious about Java EE, and we've been discussing it in the JCP Executive Committee meetings. If you've been looking at the summaries and following what's been going on, we've been discussing what's going on with Java EE for the last few months. So there was some big news here at Java 1 this year. You want to just briefly share with us?
Sure, yeah, we had some great announcements here at Java 1 as well as some detailed talks. I guess the big news is that we are again moving forward with Java EE 8. We're making a few changes in our agenda for Java EE 8 to better orient towards our goals around support for cloud and microservices. So for Java EE 8, we're doing a little bit of a refocus for some of our JSRs, a bit more emphasis in JAX-RS on reactive client APIs and circuit breakers. And then we're beefing up our agenda for the security JSR with support for OAuth and OpenID. And we're adding, we plan to file 2 new JSRs, one in the area of configuration, which will be important to externalize configuration for apps that run in cloud-based environments. And in complement with our circuit breaker work, we also plan to introduce an API for health checks. Those are all in the context of Java EE 8. And then in parallel with our Java EE 8 work, we plan to launch work on a longer term, more ambitious agenda for support of cloud and microservices in Java EE 9. So the Java EE 9 work is intended to leverage what we do with Java EE 8, but that will start in parallel. So that work will be ramping up much sooner than we would normally do with a JSR.
Well, that's a lot to take in, so that's good news. From the people I've talked to, I've gotten positive feedback about being able to continue the work on the JSRs. So Mark, you are an executive committee member and active also with Red Hat on several of the expert groups. What's your perspective on this news?
It's good news. I mean, we've always believed that Java EE forms a critical backbone of enterprise middleware. It's grown there over the last 20 years, and despite the fact that there are these new waves of cloud and mobile and microservices, we still think that Java EE can play a critical role there. It may have to evolve in some of the directions that we've just heard, but we shouldn't be thinking about throwing it out of the way and starting from scratch. That doesn't do anybody any good. There's a lot of good experience, good implementations, mature efforts in specs and implementations that are out there that we need to build on. And seeing EE continue forward is going to be good for the industry as a whole.
And can I add that, of course, Red Hat has 2 key JSRs in our plans for the Java EE 8 platform, namely CDI 2.0, which we find instrumental in contributing to ease of development in Java EE, and Bean Validation 2.0, which was just recently filed, but will also be in addition to the Java EE 8 platform. So we were very glad to see the Bean Validation come forward.
I can say that in the Hacker Garden, so we've been in the Hacker Garden all week, that CDI as well as Bean Validation have been 2 of the most popular topics. So we've had the spec lead for CDI here. He's waving his arms wildly at the moment. Antoine, hey Antoine, we're talking about you.
Hey.
Say hi. All right, you can come up and say hi if you want. You can wave to everyone. Okay. So the plan is that Java EE 8 is actually going to be finished end of this calendar year. Was that what they were talking about in the camp?
No, our target is Java 1 next year. We think we can execute on that agenda, and So
Okay, so next Java 1.
next Java 1.
All right, Antoine, you want to say hi to everyone? So we have the CDI spec lead. We were just talking about CDI 2.0 being instrumental for Java EE 8. You want to say hi to the folks and what you've been working on?
We are working on finishing CDI 2. So the release of the CDI 2 should be in January if everything goes right. And we plan to go for 2.1 to be ready to help overspec for Java EE 8 and 9. But it still have to be fought.
We want to hear more about that, by the
All
way.
right. Well, that's why we're here in the Hacker Garden, so we can work all these things out, right? The community coming together and working on the plans and getting the different perspectives from the community members, of the spec leads, everybody working together. That's how the JCP works. And you're always here. You're one of my favorite spec leads.
I'll stick around, no problem. I'll be around.
Thank you. All right. So we'll throw Patrick a question now. He's
Okay.
here too. So Patrick, so from your perspective as chair of the JCP, how do you see things moving forward? And are you pleased with this announcement? And
I'm very pleased. I had some concern, like everybody else, 6 months or so back, when it seemed like we had a whole bunch of JSRs that were not making a lot of progress. And obviously, the main purpose of the JCP is to help and to enable people to develop technologies and to promote them and to standardize them. And when it seemed that Java EE was kind of going slowly, that was not a good thing. But now I'm very pleased. Obviously, we're going to have a bunch of existing JSRs will be kind of revving up again. We'll have some new ones. And now we have an opportunity to do what we like to do, which is to go out and talk to people and explain to them how they can get involved through Adopt a JSR or other means. We also have new membership classes that we've just introduced. So we have a new associate member class, which is a very easy way for individual developers to join the JCP and to nominate themselves to work on a particular JSR in a way that they can do something less complicated and less big and scary than they would have to do if they became a member of the expert group. So they can become what we call a contributor. They can get some formal recognition for their work, and that's obviously, going back to what I was talking about a little while ago, obviously going to be very good for their careers. So this is all goodness. The more JSRs we have, the happier I am.
all right, yep. Like I said, positive feedback that I've heard from the community. So many of the JSRs that have been progressing through the JCP will continue and complete. And then another big topic at Java 1 is microservices. So how does microservices fit into the plan for Java EE? You want to start, Linda?
Well, yeah, it's certainly on our radar, and support for microservices-based architecture is one of our goals for Java EE 9. We're going to take some steps in that direction with what we're adding to Java EE 8, but that is obviously very important. It's a key emerging technology, so we are definitely moving in that direction.
Mark, what's your perspective on how this fits in with microservices?
Yeah. I mean, we obviously think that Java EE has a lot to offer microservices, even today. I mean, you got to understand that people fixate on the micro aspect of the term microservice, when really it has nothing to do with the benefits of microservices. Whether you've got 6 lines of code or 600 lines of code or 6,000 lines of code, you can still have good microservices. And we've all had a lot of experience of trimming down our application servers or our containers with web profile. Full profile is obviously a little bit chunkier, but various implementations that are out there can provide of Java EE can provide a very good base for microservices today. So the reason I mention it is there's a view that Java EE has nothing to offer microservices in 2016, and we've got to make sure that we tell people that that is complete rubbish. That's fabrication. It has a lot to offer microservices developers today, and your favorite microservices frameworks are probably using it. Where we go beyond 2016 with things like, we've heard from Linda, things like we're working with IBM on microprofile, that's kind of making it easier maybe to trim down your app server in a way that allows you to do microservices in a much more portable fashion, but it's still going to be built on the rock-solid framework of Java EE that we've all been working towards for the last 20 years. We've got to make sure that people understand that. Most people who want to move to microservices today are going to do it from a brownfield perspective. They do not have the luxury of throwing everything away and starting from a clean slate. And that's where I think Java EE, moving in a much more microservices direction, has a huge future if we do it right and do it collaboratively.
I think that's key, right? So the community working together. So I think Java 1 is a great opportunity to do that. So bringing people together like this here in the pavilion, the Java Hub, in the night hacking stage, the Hacker Garden, great place to have these conversations and ensure that the community continues to work together. Did you have a comment?
Yeah, I was just going to amplify on some of what Mark said, namely that we have APIs in place already today that are going to be critical for developing microservices-based applications, namely JAX-RS, JSON, JSON-P, JSON-B, of course,
don't
CDI.
forget CDI, our favorite over there.
Our favorite in the internals. I was thinking more of the service-to-service communication. But yes, and what we're doing should be viewed as a migration for Java EE applications. It's by no means any kind of break. So we want to carry on our application path for existing customers and just add infrastructure that will make the ability to write more powerful microservices-based applications possible, and to provide some of the infrastructure. I mentioned what we're doing in terms of resiliency. We're also looking at state services, the config service, just providing infrastructure to make your apps more portable and more easily written.
All right, well, this has been a great update for me. I personally enjoyed it. And to amplify what Patrick has said, we definitely encourage everyone to get involved and contribute and participate in the JSR discussions. Give us your feedback. Any closing statements from anyone before we say goodbye on this night hacking interview?
We call it the Java community process because we want community involvement. So come and get involved.
I would say for more details, the talks that we've given in these areas should be made available. Both the recordings that were made of the talks and the slides will be available in the Java 1 web pages, so people who want more details can get them there.
All right. Thanks, Solomon panelists.
Okay.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.